Good afternoon. As others before me, I appreciate everyone coming to celebrate what was such an accomplished life. Grandpa, as Sarah painted perfectly, was an artist of memories. His heart pure of love for not only his family, but for service to the community, and not just the local community. Grandpa served many communities throughout the United States, many of which were in dire need. His heart had the ability to stretch miles, at which many can't comprehend how or why one would even care to that extent. I had an immense pleasure to have this man called my grandpa, or as Gordo, as I often referred to him in his later years. Not to say he didn't have his moment of cussing at a shower, or even a cabinet after trying to fix a toilet. I always wondered how a man of such patience for the outside world could have such a short fuse when fixing a typical household appliance. Regardless, his heart was pure. It bled acts of compassion and loyalty. When a bond was needed to append a strife, Grandpa was there. He may have searched for answers from time to time, but he did so in a resolute way to never alarm those he cared for. His actions were those of an individual that had no concern for negativity. He could find brightness in the darkest clouds, and God himself knew the kind of direction I needed through my adolescence and into adulthood. He taught me how to remain humble and to stand resolute as I grew older. Naturally, Grandpa assumed the great-grandfather role just as he had the grandfather role. From high fives to smiles, laughter to encouragement, his words never fell on deaf ears as his great-grandchildren always embraced his love. As many know, Oscar, his fourth and most recent great-grandchild, was born 3 months early. While I dealt emotionally with the ups and downs, he acted as if all was normal, as if all was fine. He was adamant in seeing little Oscar, all 2 pounds and 2 ounces, reaching in for Oscar to wrap his tiny little fingers around his. Smiling, seemingly to tell him that his place in our family is welcomed, with the warmth that very few would ever endure. So many take for granted the kind of love Grandpa seemed to emit on such an effortless display. Heroes at times are measured through the acts of physical display, but while these times are much easily observed of in awe, Grandpa was a hero at heart. His ability to light up a room and to speak and be listened to. Never in my life have I ever met someone that once speaking, people stopped to listen. His demeanor demanded loyalty, it constructed honesty, and it bred wholehearted compassion. A Marine, bled to bleed blue and yellow, proudly viewed every Swedish tattoo I have in amazement, yet continuously demanded no more. A son who took pride in his heritage, a brother who pridefully spoke of his brother's accomplishments, a husband who found peace and happiness in a partnership, a father who loved his sons with pride, a pride that was unbreakable. I will leave you with this. The last Christmas Grandpa and I had spent together, he had me lean in close, because he wanted to be sure I heard him. He gripped my hand and said, "My effort to raise my sons was the best I could do, instilling family values and having compassion towards one another. We all have our faults, and we all have our weaknesses. Forgive anyone who has hurt you, Kyle. The strongest bonds are those that have weathered the strongest storms. Help those who are weakest, and never forget to love your boys, no matter the condition." Gordy, father, brother, friend, Maureen, Gordo, and Grandpa. You epitomize what I long to be. Your life will forever serve as one that replicates the kind of humanity at which we all should strive for. It pains me to say goodbye, but you will never be forgotten. Through every Swedish pancake, every watermelon pickle, your life will continue to live on. Through the legacy of your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. Your smile and pureness will never be forgotten. This is not the closing of what is already an amazing life, but the start of what is another chapter. I will always love you, and never will I live another moment without you in my heart. Your grandson, Kyle.